Houston Democrat Elizabeth Panel Fletcher says Donald Trump has a basic disrespect for his fellow man. She calls his Twitter-based diplomacy irresponsible with all of our lives. And she states flatly that he isn't qualified to be president. But when it comes to Democratic Party policy positions, this House candidate and one of the top fundraisers of 2017 is far more circumspect. Single-payer health care? Not yet practical, she says. Impeachment. Due process comes first. Progressive. No, this lawyer from Battleground Houston rejects the label. I'm not really good at labels, Panel Fletcher said during an interview inside her campaign headquarters. This district has historically been Republican, but I think it's a centrist district, and I think that is what we're seeing in the rejection of Donald Trump. One of the most significant questions facing Democratic candidates in House races this year is whether running against Donald Trump, something nearly every House Democratic candidate will promise to do, will be enough to secure victory. Can congressional hopefuls win over primary voters on criticism of Trump alone, as the party's moderates suggest, or are the increasingly influential progressives right when they say Democratic voters demand something more? Sign up today for a free 30-day free trial of unlimited digital access. The answer will shape general election matchups against Republicans in the fall and could complicate what many Democrats expect will be a wave election year. Opposition to Trump, that's table stakes, said Mark Longabaugh, a senior advisor to Bernie Sanders' 2016 presidential campaign. From there, in many of these primaries, and especially in Democratic-leaning seats especially, you're going to have a bolder progressive agenda to put on the table, or it's not just going to be enough. You're going to get outflanked. Panel Fletcher is one of 7 candidates running in a crowded Democratic primary for this Houston area seat, held by vulnerable Republican Rep. John Culberson. Democrats, who have received a surge in new candidates since Trump took office, face a multitude of similar multi-candidate brawls in House races this year, in key districts ranging from upstate New York to Orange County, California. Democratic strategists fret that in such crowded primaries, the competition for votes will drive candidates further and further to the left as they try to stand out from the pack. Those concerns are most acute on issues such as single-payer health care and impeachment, issues where public support is relatively soft, but also extend to liberal priorities such as free college tuition and so-called sanctuary cities for undocumented immigrants. With so many contenders, even a relatively small share of the vote could deliver a victory or at least push the candidate into a two-person runoff. In Texas, the top 2 candidates in a primary advance to a runoff if neither receives more than 50% of the total vote. At least one of Panel Fletcher's rivals has already begun staking out more liberal ground. What do they mean by moderate? Asked Laura Moser, a former journalist turned liberal activist after Trump's election.